Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Fully Managed podcast. Thank you, Alexus, so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, so today we're going to start with a game as per usual. I personalized this game for every guest, so I hope that it is fun specifically for you. If you hate it, don't tell me. It will hurt my just kidding. You can tell me if you want. But, okay, so this game is called Scroll, Schedule, or Skip. I am going to give you a scenario, and you are going to tell me whether you would scroll, schedule, or skip, which I think those are self-explanatory, right?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, go. Like, schedule meaning, like, you would do them. I think that's the only one that's, like,
okay, got it.
Okay, then scroll is, like, you'd...
Like, no thanks.
You know, wait, why did I give 3 options? You know, we're just going to scroll or schedule. Because scroll means you're going to skip anyway. That doesn't even make sense.
True.
Whatever. It's just like the alliteration was really fun for me. So I was like, yeah. Okay. First scenario is Duolingo's TikTok personality, a brand that is leaning into humor, comments, and a little bit of chaos. How do you feel about that one?
I would say probably schedule, but there's also times where I feel like I would scroll because I feel like the unhingedness is like sort of overdone now. So it could be either or, honestly.
No, I completely agree with you. I think there's so many people trying to emulate Duolingo sometimes where I'm like, this doesn't really make sense for your brand, like, authority. It's like Duolingo was already, like, somewhat established beforehand and people became more interested through the chaos. But it's like, you still need to, like, bring people down to earth and, like, realize, like, why is this the content you're making? And, like, is it serving the purpose of, like, your marketing goals?
Totally. Yeah.
And that's a bit hard sometimes when people are trying to emulate them. Like, I should just be chaotic and get views. But it's like, is this going to bring in sales, you know?
Right. That's sort of like Nutter Butter when they their strategy was crazy, right? Like, that was insane. And I'm sure that because it was so wild, it probably did get people to, like, go back and, like, buy, like, oh, Nutter Butter, like, let me get one of those, like, while they're at the, like, grocery store checkout or whatever. But, like, the content had absolutely nothing to do with anything. Yeah, it was so wild.
I am so happy that you know about this one because I've referenced it before, and I think that oftentimes maybe I'm talking to marketers that are a little closer to, like, the millennial age, so sometimes they like see this on TikTok. They're remember like, is someone like making this account like this? Like, did someone steal their account information at first? Because I was like, this is bizarre. but you know what? I think there's a point to be made here about how, like, I think chaos can work for, like, a heritage brand, for lack of better phrasing, because it's really good for, like, relevancy, as long as it's not, like, offensive, you know? Because
it's like, yeah, no, literally. It's just like how Dr. Pepper just sort of leaned into a little bit of, like, the unhinged side where they, like, took that viral TikTok and the girl was, like, singing a song about, like, Dr. Pepper, like, so yummy or something like that. Like, and they literally took it and she went mega viral and they made it into a commercial. And, like, that makes sense. And, like, they didn't even create that. Like, that was just, like, unhinged content in a way that it had absolutely nothing to do really with, like, with them, or, like, they didn't create it. It just mentioned their product and this girl who really loved it, and they were like, let's run with this. That makes sense.
No, 100% yes. I think that, like, chaos and, like, in your face marketing can work for brands that, like, you just need a little reminder, you know, like, because it's like, you're probably not, like, if you're not a fan of Dr. Pepper and you see Dr. Pepper content, you're probably not going to go out and buy Dr. Pepper. And I feel like that's like, that content isn't for the purpose of making someone a Dr. Pepper enjoyer. Like, making new flavors and stuff like that might be trying to, like, stimulate people into, like, liking something new. But chaos content is kind of just, like, let me remind you that like Dr. Pepper's here and like, you know, he's getting the job done. And it's like people who like Dr. Pepper will now think like, oh my God, I haven't had Dr. Pepper in a while. Like I'm going to go out and get some today because I was just reminded.
Saw this TikTok. Yeah. Saw this commercial. They literally made it into like a beautiful commercial. It was insane. Like the graphics, I was like, this is crazy. This went from TikTok trend to just literal TV commercial.
Yeah, I'm like, that's genius. And like people should definitely feed off more of like their avid customer base to like content that they make, because people made free content, non-sponsored so much. It's like they're really like brands like that could really learn from. I feel like any brand could really learn from like just a customer talking about them and like just, you know, helping them out with like, hey, like, can we reuse this and we'll like give you some money or whatever it may be. Like, yeah, that's an opportunity that I think people miss a lot.
Definitely. I think so too.
Okay. Next one. We're already off to a great start with this game. Okay. We've been running with it. This is why it's always so a conversation starters. Don't worry about spending too much time on the game. Okay. So, okay. Posting daily across every platform. This is just more general, I would say.
I would say scroll. I don't think that it's, first of all, it's not really like feasible unless you have somebody who is specifically focused on that platform. Like, because even nuances with content creation between TikTok and Instagram are so drastically different. Like, people are like maybe slightly more interested in like what brands have to say, like in terms of their product and whatever, like on Instagram. On TikTok, they could literally give a shit less. Like, they don't care. They want to see funny stuff. Nobody goes to TikTok really to like learn about this new like feature or this new, you know, like, okay, sure, maybe a new flavor of Dr. Pepper or something that might be funny. That's how that one like went crazy viral. But I think it doesn't make sense unless you have somebody dedicated to each specific one. No, just, you have to know where your audience is too. Cause like working for a B2B brand, especially as like a SaaS tool, our audience is probably primarily on LinkedIn versus like maybe Threads, you know, like that's just, you just have to know where your audience is, spend the time focusing on those platforms, and also don't like spread yourself too thin because you'll just end up like having all this like shit posting basically like everywhere, and nothing will really like formulate a good strategy for you to actually return like on investment for any of the stuff that you're posting.
Exactly. I think like if you're trying to spread yourself too thin, or I mean, I guess no one's really trying to spread themselves too thin, but if you are spreading yourself too thin, you're more likely to make mediocre content across platforms rather than like really good content on one, which like might be better for your ICP, because like you just have to identify where's the best place, like where are your customers at. And if you don't understand that and you're trying everywhere, like, yes, of course, there's certain brands that like everywhere might be the right thing to do, but it's also like to put things everywhere and make good content everywhere, unless you're like repurposing it, is money. And like you need, like, maybe there's a type of brand that, you know, has that accessibility and has a team member or like at least one team member for every single platform. And like, that's a different story. But if you're an agency or a startup or like whatever it may be, unless you're huge, it's kind of important that you kind of focus your expertise on like a specific lane.
Yeah. And that's not to say that you can't like venture out at some point, but like first get a couple like down pat and then, you know, start to repurpose content from Instagram to TikTok or vice versa, or like come up with a whole new strategy for TikTok and, you know, like dedicate your time like wisely. Don't just like repurpose everything everywhere, because video content is not going to work on Threads. Probably, sorry to say this, but it's probably not going to also work on LinkedIn. I know they keep saying like we're pushing video content, but I do not see like any people posting videos at all. And I don't see any of it like doing well either. So.
I think that at some point it did do well, and some people are like kind of like focusing on that or whatever it may be, and maybe it might be like the best way to like highlight something, but at the same time it's like, you know, I think people are looking for tips, people are looking for a new client base on LinkedIn, so it's not really like some people aren't going to just sit through a video. It's not like happening very often anymore. So it's like, and if anything, like just be reading the subscript of the video instead. So it's like, yes, I completely agree with you. Maybe that's kind of, you know, outdated. I mean, every social media also goes through phases. So I think sometimes there's just periods.
For sure.
Okay, here's my last one, since we're really going forward with the game. I think we're having great conversations with the game, so it's fine. Okay. LinkedIn carousels. I'm not even going to go further with that one. Just LinkedIn carousels. Those are pretty popular.
I would say schedule 100%. I love a good LinkedIn carousel. Like some of the like the people that I enjoy their content the most are posting carousels on LinkedIn. And like I don't even know if I would call every single one that I am enjoying an actual carousel, because like some people are doing it as the PDF and some people are just like, I don't really care, like let me just like post a few images, and like that's also fine. So yeah, I would say definitely schedule. I love a good carousel.
Yeah, I love a good carousel too. I think it's like easily digestible information too if it's done right. And it's just like easy to click through, and it kind of seems more similar to like other social medias that like content is easy to just go through. Whereas I think it's funny, and I think sometimes it is of value when it's a, you know, top LinkedIn voice or someone to like really look out for expertise. But I feel like a lot of people really do settle on like longer LinkedIn posts. I don't know if you see the same, but and like for thought leadership purposes. And I somewhat understand it, but at the same time, I think I don't know. I really like teeter on whether I think it's like genuine, like generally good for all audiences or not, because I think that sometimes people really don't want to scroll through all of that or like read all of it. And I think a lot of times people are only reading through all of it because they have intentions of commenting and getting in your area because they want you as something, you know? And so it's like, is that the purpose of your post? Maybe. I mean, you're still like building a community, which I guess is also like, but if you're really, I think that maybe the smaller fish of us may not benefit as much from like a long post, because it's not going to get as many views or comments. Like people might comment quickly on something that they see that is quick, but they're unlikely to maybe comment on something long or even read something long if it's not someone that's like within their industry that might benefit them.
Yeah, I agree like 100%, because even just like speaking from experience with my own like personal brand content on LinkedIn, if I post something that has like a pretty picture or like is super short, it gets way more engagement than something that I posted that's like ridiculously long. And that's like, I've been seeing a lot of creators do these like super long posts on LinkedIn, but then they add the like TLDR at the bottom. And I always find myself opening it and then I'll read that. And I'm like, because my attention span is just not there to like, my attention span is barely there to like sit down on my couch and like read a book anymore, because TikTok has ruined that for me. I would rather just watch a 7-second video. Like if somebody sends me a 30-second video, I'm sorry, I'm not watching the whole thing because my attention span is in the trash can. I'm aggressively trying to fix that and lower my screen time because of that, because that is like, that's disgusting. Like what the heck? But the fact that my attention span is like maximum like 8 seconds, like you got it for no longer than that. So yeah, like I appreciate the people who are like taking the time to create like long thought leadership content. Do it, but it's just like, it's not for me, honestly.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think that, again, like, I think it's not, I don't know, maybe this is a hot take, but I feel like it's not really for anyone unless, because truly, I don't think people are necessarily scrolling through LinkedIn because, like, to learn. And maybe I'm completely off base with that, but I really do think most people are on LinkedIn to share and then also find their, their customers and or like potential clients. And
yeah,
I think that a long post is for a certain person on LinkedIn for sure. Like, I think that they can be successful, but I think for the vast majority of us, like, you kind of need something that is like, I don't want to say clickbaity because that has a bad rep, but like something that is attention grabbing, at least at the very top, so that someone will read it. Or, eye catching, like a carousel in which like it is digestible and like nice looking and like someone wants to scroll through it. Whereas just an informative post, I think everyone is kind of doing that now. A lot of people are using AI to create that now. And I think that they don't stand out as much. And I also don't think, like, if your purpose is to get more people interested in like your product or your service, I don't know if that's like what it's doing all the time.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think that the long form, at least for LinkedIn, the longer form thought leadership, it definitely serves a purpose, but it's more to literally do that to show like thought leadership so that somebody who maybe wants to like use your services or buy your product or something is like, oh, they know what they're talking about. They know their shit. I can trust them versus like there's some of us who are just like posting memes and like, and the way that people use LinkedIn is also so drastically different than it was a few years ago. People are literally posting anything and everything on LinkedIn, like random thoughts that they have in the middle of today's LinkedIn, at least for like the social media marketing world, like creator side, is like Twitter in like 2013, where everyone's just like one-liners, like they're giving constant updates, like that's the best. I think you can probably understand that reference. That's the best like zillennial like reference that I can make of how to explain 2026 LinkedIn is 2013 Twitter.
100%. It's like, it's very like there's a certain level of content that is expected for a lot of social media applications that is almost like, I don't want to say uniform, because obviously depending on your algorithm, it could be wildly different from someone else's, but it's still like the format in which is attractive is pretty uniform across like on Instagram. I'm expecting the same kind of content on Instagram when I go through it, like, and even if I went on, say, my boyfriend's Instagram, he's going to have completely different topics on his Instagram because he's interested in different things, but it'll still be the same, like, attraction to the content itself, like how it gets people's attention. And it's interesting how LinkedIn has been around for, I think, as long as some of these social medias, but it has not been tapped into like a social media until more recently. And so I think people have no idea what works best for them sometimes, because you'll see like almost shit posting, for lack of better phrasing, on LinkedIn. And you're like, what is the purpose of this? And for, again, a specific type of person, this might get a lot of views because they might work for a specific type of company. But what is the purpose that this serves? And sometimes it's, maybe just to get people to comment, and that, like, okay, understandable. But there's also, like, people sharing about their personal lives, people sharing about, like, their business qualms, like, people sharing, like, thought leadership, and it's like really widely across the board, like not a uniform like practice. And it's so strange. It should be like a case study of like the difference between LinkedIn and other social media applications because of like it's specifically being used for marketing.
Yeah, I think it's because there's some sort of stat that only like 10% of LinkedIn users are like actually posting. So you're 100% right. Like nobody actually knows like what works, what kind of content you should post, what you shouldn't post. So that's why it's like a free for all.
It really is a free for all. It's crazy. And there's like, I love it in a way because I think it's like, it's just so interesting to see like what people think will work or like what their strategies are when putting out content, because I feel like at this point on other social media applications, there's like proven practices for things working, or at least if you do something enough or for a period of time, like eventually it'll likely gain traction because there's like, it's just been proven. Like there's things that you can really research and figure that out. LinkedIn is like, whoa, like
whatever you want, put it here.
Work it. If it's working for you, continue to do it. But it's odd. It's like a free for all, really weird, odd place. And it's almost like anarchy. And it's so funny because it's a professional platform and it doesn't have a uniform, like, it's just it's so funny. It's just
I love it though. I love it.
I love it too. I think it's very I don't know. It's almost a new social media. Like it reminds me of, also you made the comparison to Twitter. It reminds me of Facebook when I was in like 4th grade. Like
yeah.
I just like it's slightly chaotic because like children maybe shouldn't be on there.
Whose children are on LinkedIn?
No, I'm just like, maybe I'm making a reference. But it's just like, it's chaotic in the same way that Facebook with children and also adults was.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has a different way of being professional. And like there are different like, in different environments.
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
You could be at like a really chill job and things are acceptable there, but then like there's like a corporate environment where there's things that are not acceptable that are similar, like, and so I think that's why it's so strange. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
So anyway, we're going on a rant about LinkedIn, but I think it's important to be said. No one's talking about these things.
It's true.
Okay. Moving on, I would love to know, because I often don't get to speak with people of your position that are around my age. And so I'd really love to know, because everyone has like predictions about how different social media or like how content will be in the future. I'm so curious about if you have any predictions that you think would that are going to happen in the future with content, or like things that you might be excited about or things that you might be scared of.
Yeah, actually. And I think that this is definitely not a hot take. I think a lot of people are talking about this, and I've been saying it like over at least like the last year, like all of 2025 and for sure 2026. Brands and like any profile that is not just like a regular person are, I think, eventually gonna, like, they're already sort of becoming like obsolete. Like nobody cares about like what a brand is posting unless you're Duolingo or like Elmo or something on Twitter, you know, like, but I think the way in 2026 that content is going to go is a lot of employee generated content, like a lot more personal brands that are like helping to uplift the brand accounts, and a lot less coming from brands themselves. Because when you're like on social media and you're posting like just as a person, other people feel like you're trying to have a conversation with them and not like you're talking at them. And when you're like, I don't know if I would call it hiding behind a brand, but like when you're a social media manager, like behind a brand account, you only have so much wiggle room. Like some brands are okay with you using like first person. Some brands like want you to talk like only as the brand. Like you can't be acting like you're a person behind the brand account. But like, let's face it, everybody knows that there's a social media manager behind that brand account. So I think that that's where content is like, we're going to see a bigger shift. We've already started to see that shift now, especially on LinkedIn. But I think everywhere else, we're going to start seeing that shift too. And that's because people want community. Like they want to hear from people. They want to be involved with other people. And even if there's a person behind a brand account and they are aware of that, they don't care. They want to physically know who that person is and talk directly to that person. And so that's that's my biggest take on like content in 2026. Where is it going to go? Community, personal brands, like regular brand accounts are sort of just going to like be on the, I don't want to say the back burner, but like a little more on the down low, you know?
No, I completely agree with this take too, because I think this is one of the reasons why Reddit is becoming so big in like content market, like not even, I shouldn't even say content marketing, but no, content marketing, because sometimes I think of content marketing as just like video format, and I'm like, that's
no, for sure.
But Reddit like has exploded as a place of authority because I think so many people are worried about AI and like not trusting reviews on things for new websites and new products and services. And Reddit, because it has always been so strict with its guidelines of, you know, real people and spam and like what's acceptable. And I think that this is like the best place for people to learn a lot of the time, and people are finding that out more and more as it's becoming more acceptable. And of course, it was not the most optimal and successful social media platform way back when, but it's really got its footing of just being a place of trust, and like people actually being interested in something. And I think that that's why so many brands are trying to tap into these spaces, because, you know, real people are having real opinions on things. And I think even on LinkedIn, where maybe that was going to or had the trajectory to be a place of authority where real people are, and, you know, they do also have to go through a system so they can also be real people. But I think that a lot of the content is being like AI generated now. A lot of people are like, you know, they want to post more often, so they're using AI to like create their content. They're not like making it more personalized and things like that. And so there's also a harder time to build trust there because people are already wary. Whereas Reddit has always been really good at weeding out like fakeness, for lack of better phrasing, that it's been such a more popular platform for marketing. And I think that I hope to continue to see that, because I love people moving towards community and like realness and authenticity. Whereas like I think it was almost easier sometimes to like trick people in the past, and I hate that. So I'm happy that that's like the trajectory we're going on.
Yeah, no, same. And I think it's so funny because like a few years ago, like when ChatGPT like first got like really big, like even though it's been around for a long time, like people didn't really start utilizing AI and like recognizing all of its capabilities until super recently. Remember when it very first came out and everybody was like, oh my God, like I can literally use this for everything. And then like people started talking the exact same, and like everything online started looking the exact same. And everybody was sort of like, yeah, like AI, use AI to make your content this, that. And now it's like 2026 and people are like, do not do that. Do not do that. Do not put that AI slop on my timeline, on my Instagram, on my LinkedIn. If you use an EM dash, I know, like that's kind of crazy. But if
I
you
hate
use
the EM dash because I love them. I used them so much in my like writing language before ChatGPT, and I can't use them anymore because I'm going to
do not use. I'm like, do not use the rocket emoji.
Something was like semicolons or something too much. Like, why is it the M dash? I'm upset about that.
I know. I'm like, man, that really. I wasn't really a person who used that, but I see so many writers on LinkedIn specifically being like, guys, this is just how I write. This is not AI. I swear. Like people are calling them out in the comments, and they're like, no, man, you look like an idiot because this is just correct grammatically.
Oh
like that.
I want to write a post about this. I'm really writing.
You should.
Love the M dash. Why did ChatGPT ruin the M dash for me and everyone else? It was an amazing grammatical tool. I loved it. And now it's outlawed.
That's like certain emojis, like the little like sparkle emoji. Like I know somebody who loves that emoji. She will literally use it for everything. And it's super cute. And I'm like, this is so like, it fits her personality so well. And I sent her a TikTok the other day, and it was like, it was basically like a person who's just like sitting there on their computer or something, and then there's like text over the screen that says like, when you find out that your favorite emoji is like now like the number one sign for using AI, and it's literally the sparkle emoji. And she was like, oh my gosh, no. And I was like, yeah, I regret to inform you to not use it.
It's like, and it's funny too, because it's like you can use ChatGPT and just be like, please remove all the M dashes from this paragraph, and it'll still be ChatGPT. It's like, people are almost going as far as to put spelling errors purposely in their content so that it looks like it's not ChatGPT because it's imperfect, which is crazy, because people would get in deep trouble for doing that in the past, like as marketers or as content creators, because they look stupid. But it's like it's almost it's a sign that you're not like cheating, for lack of a better phrasing now, which is crazy that this is the time that we're living in.
Why, like, it's weird that we're even having this conversation. Like, how did we get here? I don't know.
Craziest thing. Oh my God. Okay. So we're coming up on time, and I love to ask something reflective at the end of every podcast. So what I would love to know from you is, do you have anyone professionally that you feel like has inspired you? It could be like a book that you read, or like someone on LinkedIn, or like someone in your professional journey, either like, I don't know, even in college, I don't know, that you feel like has really helped you today, and would you be able to give them a shout out? Because I think that's
man, I wish. Whenever people ask me this question, I literally have such a hard time answering, because I'm terrible with people's names. I'll just be like, remember this? There's this one person that like I love their content, and then I'll literally have to go and like look it up, or like someone shows me like a movie and I'm like, who is that? I know they look familiar, but who is that? I don't know their name. Okay, so I can't be like so super specific, but I'm gonna like bring it back to like LinkedIn, I guess, because I think what has, like, since I started working on building my personal brand and like really coming into my, I don't know, like my mid-career days, I guess. Like I feel like I'm out of my early college, early career days, where I'm like, not that I wasn't taking things seriously in the beginning, but like, you know, where things are getting a little bit more serious. I think that what's inspired me the most is like the community that I started building on LinkedIn, the people that I've been connecting with, like just people in the social media management space, marketing space in general. I think it's a really fun and different community to be a part of, because I think when you say like social media and like you talk about like, I don't know, like a community anywhere else, like say like TikTok or something, like TikTok in itself is a community. People can be so nasty on TikTok and say like the meanest things, and for no reason. Like you could post this like cute little like get ready with me, whatever, and there'll just be like a million mean comments about like the way you look, the way you sound, what you're showing in your video, like how your editing is trash and whatever. On LinkedIn, it is the absolute opposite. Everybody's just there to like uplift you and like tell you that you're doing a good job and like give advice if you are asking for advice, and a very inspirational community to be a part of in general. So I don't have like one specific name, but I would just say like the SMM community on LinkedIn in general is like super inspiring, uplifting to like be a part of. So yeah, you're included in that since we're connected on LinkedIn. So I know. Now we both just need to go a little bit harder on building our personal brands and actually like taking advantage of that more. Because also like your LinkedIn is, especially now when there's like such a small percentage of LinkedIn users actually building on LinkedIn, right now is the time to do it. And I have to keep reminding myself of that. And because like, hey, brand deals, you just networking with new people, like meeting more people, especially working remote. Like it's so hard to like meet new people, and it's awkward to like go to these networking events because you work like fully remote and you're 24/7 isolated. So then you're like, how do I even talk to people?
Oh, I don't even know
I can talk to them. I can talk to a person through a screen all day, every day. But if you're sitting in front of me, I'm like, shit, what do I say? I'm I'm weird. Yeah, like
I'm navigating the body language. I'm like, okay, like they're, you know, like they look like they don't want to talk to me. I'm not gonna go up to them. Oh my god, they're like, you have to talk to me on the podcast. You're already here.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I feel that. Yeah. So that would be my best answer. I think not one specific person, but like a community in general.
I love that. No, because I think that is like a really lovely way of thinking about things. And I think that people can be like really down on LinkedIn. Even like earlier in this conversation, we were kind of like, yeah, this is a place of chaos. But it also is. Because
I love that though.
Cool. Yeah, because like it's because it's a professional place. I think people like are also upholding like a sense of kindness a bit more than other platforms because it's more, I guess, in those platforms for where comments are concerned, that's more anarchical than like where where LinkedIn is concerned. Like it's chaos in content posting maybe sometimes, but
yeah,
it's still this professional realm of like being, you know, kind to one another and that we're all just like trying our best. And I do really also really like that vibe.
And it's such a good place to like meet people who might be like ahead of you in like the same career because they've been in the industry for longer, like a mentor. And people are much more willing to like have a real conversation with you versus like on TikTok, it seems like very transactional. I feel like it's similar on Instagram, you know, but the vibes are just different on LinkedIn, you know, like titles don't really mean much, even though like titles are in everybody's like little LinkedIn bio. Like it doesn't matter if you're like, I don't know, like you're like the head of something at like Google. Like if I send you a connection request, like people are probably going to accept it because they're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Like you're in the same space, like sick. They don't care that they work for Google or like, you know, any of these bigger brands. Like, so it's cool to be in the same space as those people too, because you don't really get that opportunity anywhere else. Like, well, I'm just going to go look up on Instagram, like head of something and then like be able to be in their space. Like, no, I'm just going to follow them. And, you know, on LinkedIn, you're going to have like an actual conversation not face to face, but
you know, I know what you mean.
Keyboard to keyboard.
No, I completely understand. I really think like the LinkedIn community for me has helped me understand that someone can be so successful in my eyes and be like such a normal human being. And like there are of course uppity people that feel like they're better than you for whatever, you know, reason. Like I really feel like I have been I don't know if humbled is really the right word, but like I have really been so brought down to earth of the fact that people can be so incredibly successful based off of like where they are in life, but they are just simply a human being that is also trying their best. And so I think I've let myself be so in awe of some people's successes that I don't process that. Like they're just like so much more than me, you know? And LinkedIn has really helped me understand more and like connecting with people on that. And then just in general, like podcast and everything as well, like made me realize that people are just people and, you know, they can, if they're agreeing to talk to you, then they're just being helpful and being nice. And it's great.
Yeah. They've got everyday lives and problems and whatever, just like everybody else does. They suffer from imposter syndrome. They don't know what the hell they're doing either. They're just trying to figure it out, which I think that growing up, that's just like a common misconception is that like we see these people who are like above us or like, you know, ahead of us in their career or whatever. And we think like, oh, they just like have everything. They're all put together. No, that's not true. Literally everybody's in the same boat. It's just like when you're a little kid and like you look up at your parents and you're like, oh my God, my mom or my dad knows everything and they could never possibly be wrong and they never make mistakes. And it's the exact same way, but we're looking at these people who are in the same career space as us and not our parents. So
100%. And I think that's a perfect place to end this because we are out of time. And also that was really comprehensive to end this as, you know, just we all need to be brought down to earth, I think, a little more. It is, you know, we're all trying our best as professionals. And it's like I constantly think about doctors and how they're like the everyone thinks of them as so like informative. They're telling you like what's wrong with you and different things like that, but they are also people that get things wrong, and that's crazy. And so we should like, if we're looking at doctors like that, then we should look at everyone like that. It's like,
and how iconic that it's like the 20th anniversary of High School Musical, and we could just say like we're all in this together. That's so corny, but like that.
When I post this, that's like the theme. We're all in this together. High School Musical. Okay, I'm getting
20-year anniversary. I hope it is the 20-year. I'm pretty sure it's the 20-year. I think it came out in 2006.
I'm gonna put you on full blast on TikTok so that people can criticize the fact that you're wrong.
They're going to be like, we thought you were the biggest fan, and then you literally got it wrong. Like, you got the one thing wrong. Yeah.
Well, Alexus, thank you so much for joining me today. This was an absolute pleasure. I had so much fun gabbing with you. I think that, there's a lot of key takeaways from this about LinkedIn and just like, being more understanding of people and meeting them where they're at. It's just, we're all trying our best out there. And I think that everyone kind of needs to acknowledge that everyone else is doing the same.
I agree.
Thank you so much.
Be nice. That's all that means. Just be nice.
Just be nice. Oh. Well, thank you everyone for also listening. We'd be nothing without you. Check out Alexus in the description. And I hope you guys have a lovely day. Thank you so much. Bye.
You've been listening to Fully Managed, brought to you by Penji. Check out the show notes to learn more about today's guest. And to learn more about Penji, the human-first creative subscription service, head over to penji.co. And by the way, if you're still listening, it would mean the absolute world to us if you were to share this podcast with a friend and, of course, subscribe.